Web of Fear. Michael Webb's greatest fear had always been spiders. Their 8 legs, multiple eyes, and uncanny ability to appear from nowhere haunted his every waking moment. Little did he know that this fear would become his destiny. In the bustling heart of New York City, Michael navigated his daily life like a small insect in a vast hive. His job at a large corporation only amplified this feeling of insignificance. Each day, he hurried through the streets, avoiding parks and dark alleys where his 8-legged nightmares might lurk. At work, Michael's phobia didn't go unnoticed. One morning, his colleague, Jack, decided to play a prank. "Hey, Michael, check this out." Jack thrust his phone under Michael's nose, displaying a photo of a massive, hairy spider. Michael recoiled violently, knocking over his chair. His face paled and his hands trembled uncontrollably. "Dude, chill," Jack laughed. "It's just a picture." But for Michael, it was never just a picture. The rest of his day was spent in heightened anxiety, constantly scanning his surroundings. That evening, seeking solace, Michael found himself at a local bar. As he nursed his drink, a beautiful brunette took the seat next to him. "Rough day?" she asked with a gentle smile. Michael looked up, momentarily forgetting his troubles. "It's looking up now," he replied, returning her smile. Her name was Emily, and she quickly became a beacon of light in Michael's dark world. As they began dating, Michael felt normal for the first time in years. With Emily, he could discuss anything, except his phobia. The fear of being seen as weak or pitied kept him from sharing this part of himself. However, the truth has a way of surfacing. One night at Michael's apartment, Emily noticed his nervous room scanning before bed. "Is everything okay?" she asked, concern evident in her voice. Michael hesitated. "It's nothing. I'm not fond of spiders." Emily's laughter was light. "Oh, sweetie, that's adorable. Don't worry, I'll protect you from the big bad spiders." Her response, meant to be comforting, only irritated Michael. She didn't understand. Nobody did. The situation came to a head when Emily discovered a spider in Michael's bathroom. Hearing his panicked shout, she calmly entered, scooped up the arachnid, and released it out of the window. "See? No big deal," she said, but Michael was already shaking with terror. "You don't get it," he muttered. "It's not just dislike, it's paralyzing fear." Emily's face softened with sympathy. "Michael, have you considered seeing a professional about this? This level of fear isn't healthy." Her words struck a nerve. "I'm not crazy," Michael snapped. From that moment, their relationship began to unravel. Emily's attempts to help only fueled Michael's irritation. He felt misunderstood and isolated, even in her presence. The final blow came a month later when Emily arrived with a self-help book on overcoming phobias. "I can't do this anymore," Emily exclaimed after yet another argument. "Your phobia is tearing us apart." "If you truly loved me, you'd understand," Michael shouted back. "Goodbye, Michael," Emily said, tears in her eyes as she walked out, slamming the door behind her. Overwhelmed by despair, Michael returned to the bar where they'd first met, intent on drowning his sorrows. He didn't notice the elegant middle-aged woman who took the seat beside him. "Trouble in paradise?" she inquired, noting his dejected state. Michael, already several drinks in, turned to her. "She left me because I'm afraid of spiders. Can you believe it? My entire life ruined by some tiny creatures." The woman regarded him with keen interest. "Tell me more," she urged, and Michael did. He poured out his story. The childhood nightmare of waking up covered in spiders, years spent in constant fear, failed attempts to overcome his phobia, and how it had cost him the best relationship of his life. The woman listened intently, occasionally probing for more details. As Michael finished his tale, she placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "I believe I can help you," she said. "I have a friend who specializes in treating phobias. He uses cutting-edge methods. Here's his card. Give him a call tomorrow." Michael accepted the card, his vision too blurry to read it. "Thanks," he mumbled. He stumbled home and collapsed into bed fully clothed. The next morning, he awoke with a splitting headache and a vague recollection of a bizarre dream where he'd been traversing a giant web. Staggering to the bathroom, Michael was shocked by his reflection. His eyes looked strange, the pupils unnaturally dilated. "What the hell?" he muttered. Suddenly, he felt an odd sensation on his back. Twisting to look, he was horrified to see small growths protruding from his skin. "No! No! No! No!" Michael cried, frantically feeling his back. The following days were a living nightmare. Michael desperately searched online for answers and called countless doctors, but no one could explain his condition. The growths on his back expanded, and his skin became increasingly hard and glossy. By the 5th day, Michael could no longer leave his apartment. His body had changed so drastically that normal clothes no longer fit. He ceased all communication with the outside world, isolating himself completely. A week later, a knock came at his door. It was Emily. "Michael, I know you're in there," she called out. "I'm worried sick about you." Michael, now more arachnid than human, cowered in a dark corner. "Go away, Emily," he whispered. "Please." But Emily was determined. She managed to force the door open and stepped inside. "Michael?" she called out, peering into the gloom. Then she saw him, a monstrous spider-like creature with Michael's face, huddled in the corner. Emily screamed, but didn't flee. Instead, she pulled out her phone and dialed quickly. "Mom?" It worked. The transformation is complete. Michael, still able to comprehend human speech, was paralyzed with shock. "Emily?" he rasped in his new inhuman voice. "What's happening?" Emily turned to him, her eyes devoid of fear or disgust, filled only with the cold interest of a scientist observing a successful experiment. "I'm sorry, Michael," she said without a trace of remorse. "You were the ideal subject for our experiment. Your arachnophobia made you uniquely susceptible to our treatment." At that moment, the elegant woman from the bar entered the apartment. "Excellent work, darling," she said to Emily. "The experiment exceeded our expectations." "Thank you, Mom," Emily replied. Michael struggled to process the situation, but his altered brain functioned differently now. He felt his human thoughts and emotions giving way to alien instincts. "Why?" was all he could manage to say. The woman's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Progress demands sacrifice, my dear. You're the first of a new breed of super soldiers. Imagine an army of Spider-Men, able to infiltrate any location, withstand incredible stress, and deliver lethal venom." Michael tried to scream, but only a hiss emerged. He attempted to move towards them, but his new body wouldn't cooperate. "Don't fret," Emily said, producing a syringe. "Soon, you won't have any concerns at all. Your human consciousness will be replaced by a superior, enhanced intelligence." The last thing Michael remembered was the needle piercing his chitinous shell and a peculiar sense of relief. His greatest fear had become his essence, and in that, he found a twisted form of liberation. A week later, New Yorkers were stunned to see a massive web stretching between Manhattan skyscrapers. Meanwhile, in a clandestine laboratory, Emily and her mother prepared more patients for their experiment. The future of warfare was taking on a new 8-legged form.